And then he hears it, the roar. A man walking through the forest in the twilight of morning, snow crunching beneath his feet, breath sharp in the frozen air. He hears the rumble, a growl, low, guttural, close enough to know he is not alone. He is being hunted. It echoes through the trees, deep, primal, terrifying. It shakes the air. It rattles his bones. For a moment, he freezes. His pulse surges. His throat tightens. His mind screams, "Run!" And in that instant, he stands at a crossroads. He can turn. He can flee. He can live safely for another day. He can tell the story of the lion he almost faced. The story of what might have been, but never actually was. Or he can turn. He can face the roar. He can stare into the jaws of death itself and step into the greatest adventure of his life. Not knowing why, a surge of adrenaline floods his body. Not for flight, but for fight. His muscles tighten, his heart pounds, and against all reason, his body shifts. The odds are stacked against him, but somewhere deep inside, he hears the whisper, "Now is the time. Turn, fight, defy the odds." Two burning eyes, glowing in the darkness, fixed, fierce, alive. For one eternal heartbeat, man and beast lock eyes. The lion hunts for food, the man hunts for destiny. One fights for survival, the other fights for purpose. And then they charge. Snow explodes, claws tear, fists strike, teeth flash. They tumble, roll, and plunge into the pit. The forest erupts with growls and cries, man and beast locked in epic battle. The sound shakes the earth, and then silence. The forest holds its breath. Moments later, he climbs out, bloodied, bruised, but alive. He draws a breath so deep, so fierce, the kind you take only after you've put your life on the line and answered the call within. The call that proves you are stronger physically, mentally, emotionally than you ever believed possible. Victorious, no longer just a man, now a conqueror, a lion chaser. That story, recorded in scripture, retold as the epic account of Benaiah, the man who chased a lion into a pit on a snowy day and walked out into a destiny forever changed. This story was retold in Mark Batterson's book, Chase the Lion. And this story, it's not about the past, it's about you and the future still possible for you right now. Because every one of us, we hear the roar. Every one of us, we stand at a proverbial crossroads. Your lion probably isn't a beast in the snow. Your lion is your future self, the man or the woman that you were born to become. Here's what you need to know. Most people, when they hear the roar, they run. That's what our primitive brain says to do. Play it safe, shrink back, avoid risk, and bury your dreams under the proverbial blanket of someday. It's comfortable there. That's what your primal brain wants you to experience. But lion chasers, empire builders are different. They run toward the roar. Because when you face what others fear, when you stop living as if the purpose of life is to simply arrive safely at death, that's when you unlock your destiny. Benaiah chased the lion, and it changed his story forever. He didn't just walk out of the pit as a survivor. The story told in the Old Testament was he walked out into his calling. He became King David's bodyguard and eventually the commander of the entire Israeli army. And that's the metaphor for your life. Your lion isn't just fear. Your lion is your future self, the one you were born to become. The question is simple. Will you run or will you face the roar? Because everything you want, everything you're capable of, lives on the other side of the fear that you face. Because the end of that battle is really just the beginning of a new life, a life of courage, a life of calling, a life where money is no longer the master, but the tool. So this, my friends, is your invitation. Chase your lion, conquer regret, rise up, live free. Become the empire builder that you were born to be. Let me show you how. So let me ask you, what is money? You've just finished this book and you've learned how to use money to achieve financial freedom. But we never really stopped and asked, what is money anyway? I mean, really, what is it? Today, money takes many forms. Dollars, numbers on a screen, crypto, things we trade, barter, or swipe. But those are all just symbols, manifestations of a deeper concept. At its core, Money is time. Think about it. You trade your time for a paycheck. You trade your time to build a business. You trade your time to earn more money. That's how life works. And here's the unfortunate catch. Most of the money that you've traded your time for at the present moment is gone. It's been spent. It's been consumed. So you go back to work. You trade more time for more money to fund today. And if you're disciplined, maybe to save a little bit for tomorrow. That's the idea of retirement. The dream of someday when money no longer controls your choices and you control your money and therefore your life. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If you never learn how to master money, you'll trade your entire life away for too little money and too little freedom. And that means your deepest desires, they go unfulfilled, your dreams unlived, your potential completely unrealized. Because if it's true that money is time, well, here's the other side of that coin. Time is life. So when you spend your time chasing money, you are really just trading away your very life. And when your time runs out, no amount of money can buy you one more breath. And the reality of it is, when we face the truth, you get one shot at this thing called life. I get one shot at this thing called life. One chance to live, to feel, to experience, to love deeply, to make it all count. If you spend your whole life chasing money without mastering it, you're not just trading time, you're trading your life. And this is why the pursuit of financial freedom in 10 years or less matters so much. Because financial freedom, it's not just a finish line. It's not just a number you grind toward until someday. Treat it like that, and yeah, you might wake up with money in the bank, but you'll have regret in your soul. The truth behind money is financial freedom is simply a pathway. It's a way of life. And here's the paradox. The sooner you start investing in the life you love now, the faster you actually reach financial freedom. Let me explain. Happiness isn't the prize waiting at the end of success. It's the fuel that makes success possible. And this is where the concept of the life balance sheet comes in. Because the reality of it is, you don't really want more money. You want what money can be traded for. Back in chapter 6, I asked you to answer two powerful questions. What do I want, and why does it matter? If you were honest, your answers had almost nothing to do with money itself, but they had everything to do with what money could unlock. More choices, better options, meaning, purpose, adventure, connection, calling. That's the point of the life balance sheet. To remind you that what money really is a tool to build and live a life that matters for you. And real wealth is the life you choose to build with it. So after asking literally thousands of people those same two questions, what do I want and why does it matter? I've noticed that their deepest desires generally fall into one of four areas. These are the categories that make up the life balance sheet. First and foremost, they want maximum health and abundance mentally. This is mental wealth. This would be things like your clarity, creativity, and growth. The next area that they want maximum abundance and wealth in is physical wealth, health, energy, vitality. The next is emotional wealth, joy, connection, resilience. And the final category on the life balance sheet is spiritual wealth, purpose, peace, and presence. This is what people really want. So let me ask you, if I handed you a check with as many zeros on it as you wanted, but the price of that check and all of those zeros was to give up one of these four areas of your life forever, which of the four areas would you trade? Of course not. None of these areas on the life balance sheet you would trade for money. No amount of money is worth your health. No check can ever replace your peace, and no deposit can buy back your family. And yet, if we're honest, this is the trade that most people make almost every single day. Not all at once, but little by little by little. Here's the unfortunate tragedy. We sacrifice health for hustle. We trade presence for productivity. We exchange relationships for revenue, and we surrender purpose for more paychecks. At first, these trade-offs are small. A couple of late nights, a few skipped dinners, one quadrant on your life balance sheet pushed aside just for a season. Now, that first trade-off, maybe it makes a little bit of sense. I get it. Everything in life is about trade-offs. But once you make a trade-off once, it's easier and easier to make more and expanding trade-offs every single time after that. Believe me, I've lived in this cycle. Once you've made the first trade-off, and then another, and before you know it, money has taken over your entire life. Now, money isn't just sitting above your life balance sheet, it's crushing it, it's smothering it. It becomes the pursuit, the priority, crowding out the very things that, if we're honest with ourselves, matter the most. We tell ourselves it's temporary, we'll fix it later once we have enough money, but later rarely comes. And when it does, well, money can't buy back what was was lost. This is how regret is born. This is how regret expands, and most people live a life where they look back on the best years of their life, not with happiness and joy, but with regret of everything that they traded in the pursuit of just another dollar. But there is another way. Imagine with me for a moment. What if you began investing right now, not just in your passive income machine, but actively in your life balance sheet? Because investing at its core is always an exchange, money for an outcome. And when you're deeply connected to the real outcome, a life of health, vitality, adventure, connection, aligned with your highest values, you don't just become a wiser steward over money, you become a far better investor. Listen, return on investment, this is important. It measures how your money grows, but there is a far more important return that you need to start considering inside of your life as it relates to money. It's a return on attention. A return on attention measures how your money lives. That's the return that matters most. When your dollars are directed into what matters most, money stops being a number on a screen and it becomes a reflection of your inner core values, a symbol of a life well lived. Proof your money isn't just growing, it's giving you more life, more creativity, and more vitality in the world as a producer. I'll never forget the first time I discovered this truth hiding in plain sight. You see, I had been working on my investments. I had taken all of my money off of Wall Street and I began building my passive income machine. But I carried the same mentality about retirement, about one day, as I had in Wall Street to my passive income machine. Every penny, every dollar, every opportunity I had to take money and put it into my system, that was an opportunity I maximized. Everything that didn't go into my passive income machine in my mind had a collateral damage. It had a real expense to it. It was $1 that wasn't working for me in a system where I could become financially free one day. And I'll never forget, my wife and I decided to take a vacation. It was our first vacation together. Now, up to this point, I didn't believe we needed a vacation. I didn't believe I wanted a vacation. I kept telling myself, one day, when we have enough money, enough cash flow, we'll take all the vacations we want. But until then, scrimp, save, sacrifice. And I'll never forget, leading up to this vacation, I was scrimping. I was saving every hotel that she wanted to book, every excursion that she wanted to do. I was saying, no, we're not going to do that, right? That's going to cost too much. We'll do that one day later. And without knowing what was going on, in hindsight, I was ruining the vacation before it ever started. But we planned, we saved, and we had enough money to afford the vacation comfortably and easily. But I'll never forget the day we decided to go on the vacation. I made a couple of quick changes. The hotel that we were staying in I thought was too much money, and so I downgraded it from the Hampton Inn into something that had good pictures online, but its price was a third of the price tag. I'll never forget the day that we arrived at the hotel. It couldn't have been better or worse. Right? We walked into the hotel and my wife immediately saw this isn't the Hampton Inn. Now, when we finally got into our room, there were dead cockroaches. It was disgusting. And Bethany sat down on the bed and she said, I just want to go home. Now, my friends, at this moment, I realized that I was missing the entire point. Here I am with my beautiful, amazing wife. We planned a vacation. We had the money to invest in a life that we wanted to live right then and there. And I was choosing to sacrifice today, the present moment, for one day, when I had this proverbial idea of enough money. At that moment, I said, Beth, you know what? I've messed up. I am so sorry. Let me make it up to you. We immediately got out of that hotel and we went back to the Hampton Inn. Fortunately, they still took us and we had a wonderful vacation. I let go for the first time in a long time, and we didn't spend beyond our means, but we spent well within our means. We had a wonderful time. We did excursions, adventures, and more than anything, I connected, or should I say, I reconnected with my wife. And when we got home from that vacation, something interesting happened. For the first time in my entire life, I finally understood the meaning and the purpose of money. I had experienced to some small degree what real wealth actually meant. And I found a new drive, a new motivation, a new commitment to building a system that could not just fund all of these things tomorrow or 10 years down the road, but how could I start becoming more intentional with my system and my money today to do it again? That single experience reshaped how I have thought about money for the rest of my life. Money is a tool to build and live a life that matters, not one day, but right now. That experience, it didn't set me back, it actually energized me. It made me a better husband, it made me a better leader, and it made me a better producer. That's the happiness advantage in real life. So the way out is actually pretty simple. Flip the script. The passive income machine makes financial freedom nearly inevitable. Not overnight, but easily within 10 years or less. Build your game plan, set up your system, come work with us inside of Money Mastery and we'll help you launch it and scale it, and the outcome becomes virtually guaranteed. And when you know the outcome is certain, you don't have to postpone living and waiting until someday. You can start investing in freedom and fulfillment right now. In fact, my friends, this is actually the secret. Financial freedom, it's not a destination decades away. It's a lifestyle that you begin to choose today. With every dollar, it's a vote of will I rise up, will I be intentional, and will I allocate this dollar that represents time I've traded to a life that matters right now. So what does it mean to invest in your life balance sheet? Well, it means you direct money with the same focus and discipline you'd use in any investment. But instead of chasing possessions, you're funding a life of purpose. You invest in your values, your goals, your deepest priorities. You allocate money to adventure, to experiences, to live a life worth remembering while you still have breath in your lungs and fire in your heart. You live, you laugh, you love. And money slowly but surely becomes the tool that creates the space, the experiences, and the opportunities to make it all possible. Because in reality, my friends, money never was the goal. It has always been the tool. So as a tool, you direct it into your mental, your physical, your emotional, and your spiritual well-being. You live rich now with the promise that you finish wealthy tomorrow. This is what it means to live free today. Not by waiting for retirement, but by investing in a life worth living right now. Your life balance sheet is the key to doing this. That's how you become the kind of person who doesn't just reach financial freedom, but actually is ready to thrive within it. You start living as if you are financially free, spending with intention, directing with integrity, and living the life that matters right now. And that brings us right here, right now, to the real journey of money, the infinite game of money and life. We call it the prosperity pathway, where we go from scarcity to abundance, ultimately to prosperity. But let me show you how it's possible and why it's the greatest adventure of your life. Scarcity is survival, the endless churn. We earn, we spend, we repeat. There's never quite enough, always someday. Most people want out of scarcity, so they chase a little bit more. More hours, more hustle, more money. And at first, it works. There's a taste of abundance, saving, investing, breathing easier. But here's the trap. In the pursuit of more, usually they trade away what matters most. Health, presence, relationships, purpose. They tell themselves, I'll circle back to those things which are important but not urgent today, and I'll take care of those things when I have enough money, time, and margin. Meanwhile, the financial system, the one that's constantly persuading you, whispers, spend more. Borrow more, finance today, upgrade, mortgage the future for a fleeting present. And the taste of abundance slowly starts to fade under the pressure, the weight of consumer debt. It creeps in. This creeping in debt and pressure starts to mount, and it starts to form cracks in the system, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and ultimately physically. That weight is heavy: scarcity, survival, and stress. But now, these money problems are compounding into life problems. But abundance, real abundance, it's completely different. It isn't fleeting or borrowed from the future. It's built on a foundation that you can trust. The doorway to abundance begins with 3 questions. What do I want? Why does it matter? And who must I become to ultimately create it? These questions pull you out of survival. They focus your attention, they align your money with meaning, and they open the doorway to real abundance. Abundance is when your financial system is in motion. Your empire is built one brick, one step at a time. The passive income machine is working for you, making your future inevitable. It's protecting your money, it's growing it automatically, and it's aligned with the wealth forces instead of working against them. You eliminate taxes from your future. You take back control of your money from Wall Street, and you create a system where cash flow, compounding, and leverage are no longer risks, they're literally allies. And in that place, freedom becomes inevitable. The fear starts to quiet down. The stress, it lifts. You can finally breathe again because for the first time, your future is now secure. And abundance stabilizes the moment you add intention. Money no longer flows in and out of your personal economy, untethered from your values, your goals, or your priorities. On the contrary, it aligns with your life balance sheet. Every dollar has a purpose, not just to fund the future, but to build a meaningful life today. This, my friends, is the science of achievement, the passive income machine, and the lifestyle vaults. Now, we briefly discussed how the vault can be used to fund lifestyle, and going on that first vacation, I learned how to build a system where I could make my money work for the long term, but also live fruitfully, abundantly in the present, and I do it all with a lifestyle vault. And once you've built your financial plan on a solid foundation, you arrive at a threshold, because abundance was never the the destination. It was always your birthright to begin with. It's really the foundation, the doorway to the real hero's journey, which is answering a much higher call. Purpose. Because the greatest adventure that life offers is a purpose-driven life. When your money, your time, and your energy all align with the gifts that God has placed inside of you. On the contrary, they were given to you to use, not just use for any old reason, but to use in the service of others. When you aim what's uniquely yours, your God-given gifts, skills, talents, and abilities at solving real problems, you unlock the rarest currency of all, fulfillment. Now listen, fulfillment, it can never be bought, but money can open the doorway. It can create the space where stress fades, options expand, and purpose takes the stage. To step from abundance into prosperity, we ask 3 different questions. These questions are much, much deeper. Question number 1 is, who am I? This really reveals your identity. Once you understand who you are, you realize that your potential is limitless. The second question is, why am I? Once you understand where you came from, you can now start to get clear on your purpose here. Why are you here? The third question is the question that most people want to ask first. It's the tactical question. This is, how do I? Once you understand your unique identity and your God-given purpose, you can now start to ask the how do I question, being able to lean forward, being able to take steps forward in faith and action. And here's the secret. These aren't one-time answers. They deepen and evolve with every step you take forward on a purpose-driven path, rooting you into something that's greater than success and much more lasting than freedom. This is the infinite game of money. You see, the purpose of an infinite game is to keep playing the game at ever higher levels, expanding your ability, your capacity to play the game at higher levels of purpose, fulfillment, and ultimately satisfaction. The equation for the infinite game, it's really pretty simple. When our time plus our money is multiplied by purpose, this is how we find the currency of life, fulfillment. In the infinite game, you don't play to win, you play to become, to grow, to give, and ultimately to live. The prosperity pathway doesn't end at a finish line. It begins in becoming who you were divinely created to be, rising to the challenge, and living full out, playing all in every single day. This is the pathway. Financial freedom isn't a destination, it is a lifestyle. And when your purpose drives your money, you don't just build wealth, you build a life, not someday, but right now. So my simple invitation to you at the end of this book and at the end of this course is to choose the pathway, to step out of scarcity, to make abundance inevitable. Then chase your lion. Chase that lion all the way into prosperity, because the greatest currency you'll ever earn is fulfillment. Rise up, live free, and build a life that multiplies far beyond money. The picture is now complete. Now the only step left is to turn. Turn and face your lion. Look at your lion directly in your eyes and see it for the opportunity that it is, and then roar back.